Hey, what's going on? This is Justin Castaneda at When You Were Little, and you're watching Cartoonist by Night. Welcome to Cartoonist by Night. I am Anthony Laatsch. I am joined here with Troy Dongarra. We have D. Brad Gibson, Matt Rodgers, and our guest, an artist and mama, Tressa Bowling. How's it going, Tressa?
Great. This is Mochi. She's trying to steal the spotlight.
Awesome.
We got a
It's
2
working.
for 1. We got a 2 for 1. We reached out to one guest and we got 2.
Yeah.
This is a great way to kick off 2025 because as I look at the Cartoonist by Night editing studio over here, I'm still cleaning up from the hollandaise special, and the prawn nog and all of that fun stuff. So we're going to kick off a brand new year with Tressa. And when we asked her any topic that she can choose, what was that topic?
Ninja Turtles.
There we go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a topic that I think you could just do every single week because there's 40 plus years of awesomeness there. So what we're going to do in this episode is talk about the Ninja Turtles. This will be a companion episode because one of our early episodes we talked about the Turtles as well, but it's always great to bring it up again, talk about it with our guest, and then we're going to learn about our guest, draw and hang out, and that will be the show. So what we're going to do is go around and kind of see what we're all going to be working on. We'll start with Tressa. Do you have any idea what you're going to be doing tonight?
So Mikey is so Mikey is my favorite. And I really loved I totally forgot the name. The newest movie, the
Mutant Mayhem?
Mutant Mayhem, yeah. I love that
Yes.
style. So cool. And so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be drawing Mikey from that one. Yeah.
Very cool. Then let's jump over to Matt Rodgers. I see you got a blank screen over there. We are seeing a screen, which may lead to you maybe not working on a secret project. What are you going to be drawing tonight?
Oh no, man. My secret project is finished for the moment.
There we go. So you'll be drawing something Ninja Turtles related, I assume.
I hope so.
Good. Jump over to D. Brad Gibson. What's going to happen on your page over there?
Hold up the rhino. I gotta draw him.
The Rhino from Spider-Man? Oh, wait, Rocksteady.
Oh no, so I gotta draw both Bebop and Rocksteady,
Nice.
and then maybe April and probably a turtle. I did a quick sketch of Leonardo, so I think that's the one. And do I have anybody else? No, I think that's it. That's all I had planned.
Cool. Troy, are you going to be drawing or playing tonight?
Well, I just want to bring up because she had mentioned that movie. I liked that movie so much.
Yeah.
I'm not a toy collector, but I bought all of the toys that I could find. The only
Nice.
character I'm missing is April from the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And when I finally found Splinter, I was with my wife and I yelled, "Oh!"
Yeah.
She was terribly embarrassed.
You
But,
screamed,
yeah.
you screamed out.
I did. I yelled inside of Walmart, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's Splinter!" But I'm gonna draw Krang, who's
Yeah.
not in the, or sort of a variation of Krang.
All right.
Satire Krang.
All right. Well, I'm going to draw my favorite turtle character. Oh, not Gonzo. But we're going to have a competition here, I guess, or I'm going to draw different characters because I am also going to do Bebop and Rocksteady. So I do have some pencils laid out for some sketch cards.
Okay, tiny.
and-
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the show, future Anthony might just black out my screen if I see how great D. Brad stuff is. So I might just swap it out with a different drawing in editing there. But we're going to see multiple bebops and multiple rock steadies. So what we're going to do here, we have our drawings. Feel free to jump right in. We're going to talk about the turtles. We're going to draw the turtles related characters and learn about Tressa. So here we go. All right. Kicking off 2025 with a topic that we love here. I'm trying to think. I'm going to start with Rocksteady in mind. Okay, so what I want to talk about first is let's start with the Turtles and Tressa. What was your earliest memory introduction to the Turtles? Let us know about that.
I mean, for as long as I could remember, I've been into them. I am a child of the 80s. So I watched the original animated series, and I was obsessed enough that I remember I got for Easter one year a VHS tape of one of the seasons in my Easter basket. So, but Mikey's always been my favorite. I love how goofy he is. Yeah, I'd say that's. I mean, I can't remember my life without Ninja Turtles being in it.
Yeah, and kind of talking about gifts, I forget if I mentioned this one on the first episode or not, but whenever I think about like Ninja Turtles or like just presents in general, whenever I got a present, there was one that really stood out to me was going to lunch at a local place, and I was with my mom and I think a family friend, and I don't know if there was a special occasion. All I remember is that I had gotten a special Ninja Turtle figure for that random lunch, whatever it was, and it was Ace Duck. Ace
Oh,
Duck,
nice.
and I always remember Ace Duck, grilled cheese, and a chocolate milk because all of that happened in that one. Like, I don't even know if that was related to any kind of like birthday or event or something, but I always just have that memory sticking with me. And yeah, so whenever I think about good presents, that Ace Duck comes to mind.
Oh yeah, I remember going
I
to
don't
the like
remember
local KB Toys and picking
Yeah.
up the ones where they're like dressed in like, well, they still do it where they dress them up in weird, or they release the toys where they're dressed in weird costumes.
Yeah.
And I just remember one of them was like dressed as a cowboy.
Boy.
Um,
Yeah, you'd kind of have the like a lot of sports ones, so they're all like in
mhm.
basketball and football, like gear and stuff like that. And
They've done like Universal Monsters.
yeah, oh yeah.
Don't say Universal Monsters around Anthony.
Oh.
Yeah, in a good way, just because I'll get obsessive. Because yeah, the creature from the Black Lagoon is a favorite of mine. This is why Rodgers just said that. But yeah, I got that Leonardo figure, and then I had Scoot McMahon. I did a commission with him, and
Mhm.
he did a Universal Leo for me, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
And so when it comes to Ninja Turtles, and if you have Tressa, do you have any kind of favorite iteration, like through the, whether it be the live action movies, the animated, the series, the toys, the video games? Is there anything that like jumps out to you as like a favorite, product?
Mm. I love what was it, a Sega game? Where I guess it was the one that was like originally like an arcade game that they turned into.
Yeah.
I believe it was a Sega game. Like that's what I remember as far as like video games for them. I remember playing hours of that as a kid. Not a big fan of the live actions. Maybe like the original ones kind of hold like a little bit of nostalgia, but they always kind of creep me out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as we
Not a
see
fan of
throughout
Muppets.
as we see throughout the decades, when we see like those decaying costumes, like
Yeah.
with Jim
Or
Henson.
like the screenshot where one of them has its mouth open, you could see the human's teeth in there too.
Yeah.
Yep,
Some
yep.
of that, throughout time, it has become pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific.
But definitely, I mean, I almost love any of the animated versions. We even started watching the one that's the most recent one, which is kind of the one that's spurred off of Mutant Mayhem that was on Nickelodeon. We started watching that with my son over the past weekend because we were snowed in.
Is it tied in with that with the first movie, or is it just kind of, how does that fit in at all? Do you know?
It's the plot wise, it seems as though it's right off the end of the movie. All the character designs are the same. Yeah,
it's a direct continuation.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta look into that.
It's really good. It's the drawings are like sketchy.
Yeah,
like they're at comic pages.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, and I was getting a lot of like Into the Spider-Verse vibes with that like animation style, and just a lot of like it you could definitely see some influence there. But I was all in for that movie. I saw it a couple times in theaters because I went with a couple of my friends and their kids, and it's so fun to see like something that I was so obsessed with as a kid and still am, and then just see younger kids just getting into the whatever iterations coming out for their time.
Mm-hmm.
Jump over to D. Brad now. Maybe I'm trying to think. You weren't here with us on the Turtles episode, is that correct? First time around, D. Brad.
Yeah, I wasn't born yet.
So yeah, he wasn't born. D. Brad is exclusively the youngest member of Cartoonist by Night. So let's get some turtle stuff from you too. What was your introduction to the Turtles?
Well, truth be told, that I did not grow up with the Turtles as a little kid, but when I went to comic shops as a teenager, my first memory is the black and white comics.
Yeah,
but I wish I had picked them up, but I didn't. All right, it didn't appeal to me at the time. And then I do remember the cartoon show because I always didn't matter how old I was. I always watched cartoons. Still do to this day. I watch cartoons more than anything. And so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song, the original one, still always is the one I go to in my head.
yeah.
I think I wore in high school. I wore like typical comic book T-shirts, and so I had a Ninja Turtle T-shirt too. But I think it was a bootleg one. I don't think it was official. It was pretty badly drawn. Looked like it was traced. And then I saw the movies when they came out in the theater. Went to see them. I even watched the terrible, weird, creepy TV spin-off where they of the live action series.
Venus de
Next
Milo.
mutation. The next mutation. And they did a crossover episode with Power Rangers at the time. And but when my girls were little, is when I know there was a second series in the early 2000s, but I didn't really watch that. But I watched the computer animated series that came out a few years later. I was on for about 5 seasons that my girls really enjoyed, and so they started collecting all the figures. So I do have a big bin of Ninja Turtle figures, but they're not mine. They're my girls, and I really like the new Ninja Turtle one. I watched that one, and the one before it, I enjoyed it as well. But it's especially the movie that they had that came out on Netflix after that one. It's kind of like a Terminator theme about someone coming back from the future. Did you see that one yet?
Oh man, me and my son watched it. We both really liked it too. I can't recall the.
Yeah, it had a little more flow to the animation than the TV series does, but I thought it was great. Was it Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? That's what it was.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes, that's what.
where Raph had like marks on his face and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was cool.
Yeah.
A little too wrath.
Yeah.
Traditional pre-fight donuts.
So one thing that I know we talked about in the first episode was influence of pizza into our lives because of the Ninja Turtles, and I'm wondering, Tressa, do you have any attachment to pizza? Can you link that back to Ninja Turtles? Do you have a favorite pizza?
Um, I mean, I love me some pizza. I'm pretty basic though when it comes to pizzas, although I guess like one that I go for that's not as common is like there's one at a restaurant near us. It's like um, I forgot words. It's like a balsamic glaze over top of it with Gouda cheese and chicken and yeah,
Sounds
real fancy. Um, but
Sounds pretty good,
I
though.
mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't think Ninja Turtles was the cause of me loving pizza. I think it was just inherent.
Just
Yeah,
just a coincidence.
yeah, just a coincidence.
I always use them just to kind of put the blame on them, just being like, "Hey,
Oh yeah.
then I don't have to be responsible for my actions." Um, and D. Brad, do you have a favorite pizza?
Yeah, there's like a local one here in town, um, and their pizzas are giant, um, and like one piece, and that's a meal. They're so big.
Mm.
But yeah, it's like it's got like um, fresh ingredients. Like I know with pizza, even bad pizza, people say is good pizza, but um,
Mm.
there's definitely pizzas way better than others. And that's one with the nice cooked in the oven, what do you, the stone ovens,
Mhm.
yum yum, yeah. But I like a tomato sauce base. That's my favorite. But I'll take any kind of pizza.
Even bad pizza.
Yeah, I'll even take a bad pizza. Take like a little frozen one out of the freezer and eat it. Well, I'll cook it first. But yeah,
Yeah.
Fair.
yeah.
Fair.
And
Now, do they all love pizza, or is it mostly just Michelangelo? He
say that
seems
again.
What?
to. They all like pizza. Yeah,
They all like it.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Mikey just loves it.
yeah. He loved it the most.
And speaking of Mikey, so that was one question is that we were all talking about our favorites the last time. Tressa, you had mentioned Michelangelo. D. Brad, do you have a favorite Ninja Turtle?
Um, I always found that a lot of the movies seem to focus on Raphael as the main character. Um, but I always thought like Leonardo was the leader. But I think in some of the later ones they have Raphael be the leader. So I do like the stories that they've had for him. Um, but when they first came out, my favorite definitely was Mikey. Yeah,
Michael.
Michael. Yeah, Michael. Angelo.
Michelangelo.
Hello, Michael and Leonard.
And wasn't it in the original Eastman and Laird comics that they had spelled Michelangelo wrong for a while, and then they later like slowly corrected it in like the early issues?
Oh, I think there were a lot of errors in the early issues, even
Just
with even with printing, and there's a lot of printing errors with like the pages not fitting properly. And
yeah,
there's
yeah. Go ahead.
someone. It was in my feed this week on YouTube that there's someone who's trying to edit them so the first issue so that it's correctly done. It's like a
Yeah, I guess,
10-minute documentary.
yeah, I guess for something that was just meant to be, like a farce and just like a one shot stupid thing that became, what it became. I'm sure there's probably a lot of stuff, you know, even like in the early Spider-Mans too, just not even they didn't even call it like they made a mistake on like forgetting what Peter Parker's name was. Isn't that a
Oh,
thing? There's one panel I think where he's got a completely different last name or something.
oh, really?
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man #1. Cannot confirm that, but yeah, it's not Peter Parker. And then
Peter
they
Piper.
correct course by issue 2, and they go back to Peter Parker.
Okay. I did not know that.
All right.
That doesn't seem real.
Stand by, sir.
Either
Stand by.
either as a refresher course or maybe a change in answer. Matt Rodgers, favorite Ninja Turtle?
Black suit Raph from the old, I think they were with Archie Comics at
Archie
the
Comics
time.
ones. Yep.
Yeah, I loved that series when I was younger. And when he had his black suit, he was cool. And then they put out that really bad CG animated movie in like 2006, and
Oh,
he was in his black suit for it.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, everybody did. Thankfully, it
And
was real bad.
Troy, favorite turtle?
Say again.
Favorite turtle for Troy?
As a kid, I liked Raphael best, but it's either Donatello or Michelangelo now.
Yeah, I got to go with Leonardo myself. I always like a lot of the leader characters, and he seems pretty consistent throughout. But I do like kind of what Deep Red was talking about, just with Raphael, and kind of always having a lot of stories centered around him. You know, he's kind of a loose cannon that creates a lot of drama. So I think that brings in a lot of fun stories there.
Yeah.
Checking on some drawings here, Tressa. Let's take a
Mhm.
look at yours here. If you want to let us know what you're thinking of your drawing here.
Yeah, I'm digging it. Mikey's showing some of his love for pizza.
Love the
That's what we're
expression.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pizza.
I think after this episode, I'm going to be this weekend. I'll have to revisit Mutant Mayhem again.
Yeah.
D. Brad. Well, here we both started with our rock steadies. So, how's yours coming along there?
Well, I have to I have to look up what his clothes look like, so I'm slowly putting those on him.
Typically, at least from 90s, 80s, 90s cartoons, has like the yellow tank top. I have the reference right in front of me, even though
Yeah,
I'm just doing the headshot here. But yeah, yellow tank top and
yeah,
grenades hanging off of him.
yeah, yeah.
Matt Rodgers, jump over to yours there.
Oh,
Mine looks stupid right now. I'm using these marker brushes that I got. For some reason on the screen it looks pink, but it's red.
oh yeah. It does.
But
On the green, it looks red.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
the stuff you're erasing is reddish there, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think Troy just went off to go read. Oh, he's doing some live fact checking. I think with the Peter.
No, you know what? Who mentioned that they got his name wrong at one point?
I had mentioned it was in an early issue. Yeah, they it wasn't Peter Parker. I don't know if it was Peter something or what, but
Yeah, I could have sworn that that was like in issue one, but in issue one, he's called. Oh, here we go. What is this? Peter Palmer.
Peter Palmer.
Palmer.
Peter Palmer. This is still in issue one.
Oh yeah.
Referred to as Peter Palmer in the third little story in issue one.
Ah, isn't that fun?
Who killed Peter Palmer?
All right, let's see. Let's see if we can we get the glare? Can we get it to focus on Peter Palmer? Probably not.
Future Anthony could put in a detailed image, so we're all looking at a crystal clear image.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ah.
I can't believe those dummies got it wrong.
And they left it in.
And where are they now? Where is that character now?
Thanks a lot, Stan Lee.
I don't think it amounted to very much, actually. I think
No.
Someone's ever heard of Peter Palmer?
faded into obscurity.
Ooh, let's jump over to Krang there. He's a top favorite of mine. I drew him on the first episode, so I'm loving what I'm seeing here. And I know
I liked in the one that Brad mentioned. Gosh, I already forgot what it was called, but
Rise.
The Rise, yeah. The way that they did the Krang as kind of formidable, like a formidable species of alien. It was really good. They did a really good job on the Krang on that.
The Krang.
The Krang.
And don't forget that oh crap, what's his name? The guy from Everybody Loves Raymond, Brad something.
Brad Garrett.
Yeah, he did a good Krang.
I
What?
did like that Krang. He was in
The second Michael Bay.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Krang was in there and voiced by that dude. He did a really good job. Those movies are really bad, but they're really fun.
I think I said this the first time, but in the first Michael Bay one, there's well, now I'm trying to think if it's first or second, but whatever one it is where there's a big like a down a big snow hill and there's a big battle with the jeeps and just sliding down a hill for like 5 minutes. I
Oh
saw
yeah.
I saw that movie in 3D, and normally I don't really get much out of 3D movies. That was the best scene I've ever seen in any 3D treatment of a movie. It was phenomenal.
Oh, there you go.
And I'll never be able to see it again because I don't have a 3D TV and don't have that in 3D. And that's a memory that's going to have to live with my ace duck and grilled cheese and chocolate milk. To finish off the rounds of checking in on the drawings, this is where I'm at so far with Rocksteady. I'm pretty happy with where he's at before I add him background and some other details and such. All right. So we're going to switch gears over to learning about Tressa. Now, the one thing I mention this on this show whenever we have a guest with some similar experiences and mutual friends. This show exists because of All Yeah Comics. And going through All Yeah Comics, and especially issue number 12 here, and we have a list of our creators along the bottom. And Tressa's name is down here for a story.
Oh no, that's so old. Oh no.
So should future Anthony just cut away from my screen for this? Or... No, this is great. I reread the story today to in prep for this because there is an element of this story that is going to lead us into an awesome topic about you. But before we get into the detail of that, I kind of want to talk about your collaboration here with Mark Hammond. One of the co-founders of Yeah Comics and manager over at the New York shop there. What was your introduction to Yeah Comics? How did you come across Art and Franco and get invited into this world?
I have probably one of the weirdest stories for that. Well, I had been going to conventions for longer than I had been like tabling at them. And Art and Franco's tables were always ones that we stopped at. I was always really enamored with their work and just how colorful and how fun it was. And cut to years later, and I was finally tabling on my own at Baltimore Comic-Con. And the way in which I guess I got the attention of them was I had just finished a commission at the show. Somebody brought around their sketchbook. Their sketchbook, the theme was all Earthworm Jim as
that's cool.
as people's favorite characters. And so when the guy came around, he asked me, who's your favorite comic book character? And I said, I really love Catwoman. And he goes, well, that will be a first. So I drew Earthworm Jim as Catwoman.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
And in her like classic the black leather costume with the goggles, that's probably one of my favorite iterations of her. And it was really weird. It was probably one of the weirder commissions I had done, and very cheeky. And I was at Franco's table getting something signed when the guy came up to pick up the commission, and I I told him that it was back at the table, and then he came back with it, and Franco saw it. And that's when he was like, "Oh, that's really funny." And he, I guess, just liked my style, and asked if I was interested and maybe, thinking about working with them at some point. And of course, I was like, yes, absolutely. So we exchanged information, and that's where it started. So it all came off of Earthworm Jim in a Catwoman costume.
Nice.
I could have guessed maybe like 100 different guesses on your and that would have probably been guess number 101. But yeah, it's that's awesome. Now, one thing that I do want to bring up, regardless, and if you wanted to look at this old art of yours, there is a certain character here. So we have Adventure Bug, who is going through the arcade here and going through all the different games and getting excited, but then he sees a certain prize, something that he wants to get, like one of the stuffed animal characters, and it's worth 5 million tickets, and it's just a perfect coincidence that there's a whack-a-mole game that has a 5 million ticket prize. So that's a great coincidence there. Now, this item here is something that I want to learn more about, because I have a companion image here that I'm going to bring up on the share screen. So hold on here for the Draculama. So the Draculama is a character that is the stuffed animal that's in the Sawyak comics. Now, can you tell us everything about Draculama, and if I'm pronouncing that correctly?
No, you got it spot on. Yeah, he started out as I don't know if you've ever done the 24-hour comic book challenge.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I could physically do that ever again, but I did Draculama as one of those one year. Basically, he's a drama llama. He feeds off of drama that people cause. And so it was just a bunch of really very silly short stories of him appearing in different scenarios and literally just taking out people who were causing drama. So he's very well fed. And it's just real goofy. And people seem to really like it. I did a few just, own my own published books of him. I did a couple years of 24-hour comic books that featured him in it. So, yep, Draculama. I haven't drawn him in many, many years. I'm kind of bad about, going back to characters after a while. So
yeah.
I know that my husband has been bothering me for the better part of the decade to bring back the character.
Now, this character, making this stuffed animal cameo in the Sawyak comics. Now, for those that don't know what the 24-hour comic challenge, typically just bringing in, not having any kind of ideas, beforehand, just kind of clean slate. So I assume that's where Draculama started because of that concept.
Yes, yeah.
And then you got to just make that little Easter egg into Sawyak comics, correct?
Yep. Okay. I think I was, if I remember correctly, I was explicitly asked to include Draculama in there somewhere.
That was going into my next question, so I'm glad that you're ahead of the game and making my job easier over here.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you've done a couple of those, and is there any way any of those are still available, or are all like kind of print runs that have been sold out and long?
No, I definitely still have copies available.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to reach out to you because I need to know more about this character. And
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I even 1 year for Inktober created a panel each day to introduce his nemesis, Van Helsing. A tragic story told in each day. I created a panel for that story. So
Love it. Love it. All right. Let's see here. So what I'm going to do is jump into a little slideshow of your portfolio, just kind of going through work. I didn't go too far back, so hopefully you won't
That's fine.
cringe on anything that I bring up.
Okay.
It's all awesome stuff. That's why.
This is
Uh,
my life.
but what's going to happen here? I'm going to show this stuff in the background, and as it's going on, I'm going to have you kind of talk about your origins as a creator, on when you got into art and just creation in general, and where it all started for Tressa.
Okay.
So you can go ahead as I get myself organized in the background here.
Okay. Tale as old as time. From as far as I can remember, I've always drawn. I went, let's see. I'm awesome at this. Okay. I went to a public school that had a program within it that was a performing arts program. And I was actually, my focus was in theater. That kind of carried me over into when I got into college. I continued with theater, but I shifted my focus into the design side of things. So more the techie side of it. So I worked a lot in costume design and set design. And even though I was always artistic in a way, that kind of helped me to sort of hone some of those skills. Most of what you see, though, nowadays that I do is pretty much all self-taught. You know, after college, I definitely bounced around, not really knowing what I wanted to do. It just so happened that I started to do a lot of, if you go far enough back into my work, you'll see where I did a lot of like the realistic pencil work, just that kind of hyper realistic type of work. And that's when I realized that people would pay me to do commissions and stuff of their loved ones. So that's where I kind of started the whole world of going to conventions. And from there, though, I realized that doing the pencil work, although it was fun, I did not find it really fulfilling. And I really wanted to hone my own style. So I worked on that over the years, but at the same time, I was attending conventions and also tabling at them and just kind of stumbling through teaching myself and just continuing to be a forever student of art. I'm still, even now in the new year, trying to teach myself new painting techniques now. But yeah, from there I just met like such an incredible community of other artists, not just at conventions, but a lot of local artists that now I can't see myself living without. And I've done a little bit of work in comics. In the grand scheme of things, I love the work that I've done. And I would love to do more, but it's not really my main focus with my art. But I do have, the privilege that it's not my 9 to 5. I don't rely on it, to get by. So I do have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to playing and like really looking at what I really want to work on and focus on. So that's kind of where it brings me today. Been doing a lot more painterly stuff recently. Those are all my little ghosties that you're showing now that I did.
Yeah, that one I left up here just because you've done this a couple times. We saw some Ninja Turtle ones, but is this something that you kind of do as like a yearly thing or every now and then? Because you've done these, as we can
here's the
see.
Ninja Turtles. Like the actual. I just did that. It was last year for October. I don't know. I just kind of had like the drive to do something that was, sort of in line with the whole Inktober vibe. I didn't really call it Inktober, but I wanted to do something that like was quick and easy for me to do, and that sort of scratched that itch. And I was like, I'm just gonna draw a ghost every day for the month of October. So that's what that's from.
That was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun, kind of just like, also looking at different properties that I myself really love, like the Shaun of the Dead ghost that I did. It's this little one here. But just kind of figuring out ways to sort of, play around with those. It was a lot of fun. They're mostly watercolor as well.
And Zoom must have done a big update here, because normally I can just click on everything that I have open, but I'm having a little difficulty, so I have to do these ones individually. But so this would have gone a lot smoother in 2024 weeks ago. But yeah, so going through your art here, and I love just seeing a bunch of the different styles and different genres, and different characters, and just it's a lot of you have a lot of reach, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to play around. I get bored sometimes doing the same, style or using the same techniques. So I have a tendency to kind of roam around a little bit.
All right. So I'm in the background here trying to find the ones that it didn't show. So stand by here for some more awesome art that'll be coming your way. This one here, I think, is going to be a good segue into what I'm going to talk about after the fact. But just based on a monster, a squid, any kind of characters like this, some of this here may be a great segue into talking about Dead Man Tells the Spooky Tales. As I find my stop share button here. Once again, 2024 Zoom worked a lot better for me.
Oh, Anthony, you keep going on and on about 2024.
My head's in 2024 yet. So Dead Man Tells the Spooky Tales. Now, this is my introduction to recognizing your work. This is something that Franco put out. We're reaching out to a bunch of awesome artists and kind of having a bunch of stories for all of them to illustrate, with the in-between of having a dead man from the DC universe being like a narrator, a horror host, if you will. And I've mentioned this time and time again of just how excellent this collection is, and it's very new reader friendly. You don't need to know anything about DC Universe and Dead Man or any of that. It's just a great avenue to bring people into telling stories on a bigger platform here. And your story here, just because I mentioned a squid and octopus, had something to do with a fisherman. I won't give too much away, but it's a great segue to talking about that genre of storytelling. So you have the fisherman story here, and basically dealing with kids who are in a grocery store, and they look at this character here who's just out there doing his shopping.
It's not suspicious at all. Yeah.
And has a lot of fun little gags in here as they're kind of learning about what happened with this character, who this character is, and being a captain of a ship and what happened to the crew and whatnot. These are all short stories, so I don't want to really go too far beyond that. I'm just gonna see if anything else I want to highlight here. Yeah, I think I'll show this one off here just because. So can you kind of talk about your introduction into working with Franco, and how, did this stem out of your Earthworm Jim Catwoman mashup? Let us know everything you can tell us about Dead Man Tells the Spooky Tales.
Yeah. Well, after working on the Oh Yeah book, kept in touch with Franco, and he really wanted to still work with me on something else. Just didn't know what that something else was. Kind of played around with a few other things. Some things fell through, other ideas, as they do. And then the Dead Man Tales book came about. And what's great with working with Franco is, I did tell him I wasn't really looking at any sort of long form comic book work. I had been around that same time working on a comic series that was being published through what's the online one called? It's kind of like
I'm not sure. Oh,
Webtoon?
Yeah. Yes. So I was working on another one at that time, and I told him I wasn't really like looking to work on something that was going to take up. Oh, that one's so old. One that was going to take up like a crazy amount of time. And I said, I was looking at. I told him I was like, I really love to also like draw really creepy things, but in a cute style. And so I guess when Dead Man Tales came about, he was like, well, then I have got the perfect thing for you. So he asked if I was interested in doing that. So that sounded perfect. I loved that it was short stories. And, I loved the format, that kind of sort of almost like Crypt Keeper style, Dead Man, introducing all of these different tales and stuff. And so that's how that came about.
Which one of those stories did you draw?
The fisherman one where he
page 95 it starts on.
he's kind of may or may not be inhabited by a sea creature.
Gotcha. Okay. I bought 2 copies of it, but I gave it away both times, so I can't like grab it off the shelf.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's a fun book. I know that he was pushing hard for a sequel to it. Something that hopefully featured Dead Man a little bit more in the stories.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how it goes.
Yeah, and when I had gotten the book and just coinciding with the next C2E2 event and bringing that and looking through it, being like, ooh, a lot of the people that have contributed to this book were set up at C2E2.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going down the line, and that's where I was introduced to your work. And as I approached your table, you were away for a little bit. You had a sign there saying you'd be right back. But there was one item that you had, I think, a limited print run on, and I just had to make sure that I was going to get one of them, and I'm going to show it on the screen here in a cool fashion because of the layout of this here.
Oh.
It's awesome.
Oh, that's right up your alley, man.
It just keeps coming.
Yeah. And so this is one thing. So after just being like, all right, Tressina's here, I'm going to have her sign the book, and then I'm looking at her art and table and immediately had to buy this. And that's when I actually started not only you, but also Justin Castaneda, a previous guest, fairly recent on our program here. And you want to talk about your friendship and kind of like being table convention buddies with Justin and how that all happened?
Yeah, absolutely. Justin and I met originally way back in the day at WizardCon Chicago. I think I commissioned him to draw me something. And we just kept running into each other. And then once I started tabling at shows, we just seemed to run with the same crowd. And we became fast friends. We always make a point to go up and, when we go to C2E2 every year, we stay with him and his family. And yeah, it's just perfect con buddy, perfect neighbor at a convention. We always, feed off of each other's energy and like bounce ideas off of each other. And yeah, it's just, I can't imagine, especially C2E2, I can't imagine doing that without him sitting right there by my side at those shows. And we even, right around pandemic times, both had kids for the first time. So we've definitely bonded on many different levels in that way.
Yeah, after discovering both of you and your tables, and then every year after that, convenient on my list of people to see because you two would be right next to each other. So
yeah, nice.
So,
yeah, and that print that you got is actually a combination of a bunch of different badges that I made for a previous show. And I made it a point to make sure that they all linked up with each other if you were to collect all the badges from that convention. Yeah.
All right, I am going to jump into our. I reached out with a single question, I think, in our Cartoonist by Night Instagram audience. Like I said, we've covered the turtles before, kind of talking about some stuff. So I kind of wanted to see, over a year later on what we would get in responses. And as I look into the account, I am going to get those responses right now. So I asked people what their favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle product, comics, movies, cartoons, video games, kind of like what they think of when it comes to Ninja Turtles. And we have Brian Lynch from Hot Wing of Justice, the 90s cartoons, and the Hostess pudding pies. Yeah, I remember the pudding pies, and I think I talked about in the last episode with they had the pizza, the cowabunga snacks. They were like the cheese snacks, and they had a really funny name.
Crunchabunga.
Crunchabunga. Yes, thank you, Roger.
You're welcome.
Wow.
And I just remember them just being absolutely disgusting. But
yeah, they're super gross.
No surprise.
But it showed off the pizza shooter vehicle that was also a toy, and I don't recall if that was in the original cartoon or if it was a Crunchabunga exclusive vehicle. But yeah, let's see here. And I don't think they did any interesting foods at all this time around for the Mutant Mayhem or any kind of drinks or anything like that.
I think they did a pizza line.
Did they?
Appropriately. Yeah, it was like a frozen pizza that you could get. I think we got one and it was like fine,
Kind of like
Pizza Hut kind of designed their big New Yorker pizza box. Kind of in the, unless I'm misremembering, but I want to say they did that.
Rodgers is a big New Yorker pizza fan over there.
They did do that, and they like changed the name of it and made it into like a special, but it was just the big New Yorker. I was hoping that they were going to bring back the Ninja Turtles breakfast cereal.
Oh yeah.
It was basically just rice checks with marshmallows in it.
Yep.
And it was awesome.
That's what the Batman Returns cereal was, except it was chocolate rice checks with marshmallows, basically. So
yeah, it's around.
Did you know that you can get the big New Yorker pizza from Pizza Hut, not just with pepperoni, but like with pepperoni and mushrooms, and then you get ridiculed by the people at Pizza Hut for free for adding mushrooms to it?
That's just a bonus they throw in.
Yeah.
That true story?
Yeah, true story.
It sounds like a true story. My brother Adam over at latchstacks.com, he replied, the video game, but you needed the original Nintendo Max controller with the turbo function. Playing those video games, Tressa had talked about the arcade games were awesome. And speaking of Pizza Hut, having like the Turtles in Time or the Manhattan Project one, I think was in there too. Couple of those video games, and yeah, those were a blast.
The Hyperstone Heist.
Is that what it was called?
That was one of them.
I seem to remember every Ninja Turtle video game being insanely difficult.
So
it was like you couldn't save. You had to just keep playing until you won it.
Yeah, no, I've never won one. I'm not a good video gamer at all. So it's like I'd never beat Mario or Zelda or anything like that either. But
That
like the Ninja Turtle ones, I remember them being like frustrating hard,
that
not
original,
even fun.
yeah, the original Nintendo one is just a nightmare. You can watch YouTube videos on that of people just trying to get through that, and because you'd constantly be having like throwing stars coming at you, and just one little hit, then you're done. And like I remember that one being difficult. Now the video games is a perfect segue into the answer from Nick Aureliani, another past guest here.
Hey, I
So
like Nick. Sorry,
uh,
go ahead.
yeah. Nick said the Shredder's Revenge video game was excellent. Now, that is referring to talking about arcade style and all these classic video games. That is one that is a fairly new release within the last couple of years, where it's a brand new game, but it's designed in that style of those arcade games.
Oh,
And
Yes. Yeah.
this will be a very interesting. I thought this was a great moment for me to unveil this, because I bought this game, but if you look at the glare, and you'll notice that it's still in the plastic wrap. I think I bought this 2 years ago. I have yet to open it. I got busy with Cartoonist by Night and drawing and all the fun stuff that comes with that. So I figured I was going to do a live unboxing, an unwrapping, if you will, of this Shredder's Revenge, and hopefully that gets me to play the game. So here we go. I know this is very popular on YouTube, so we're probably going to get a bunch of extra subscribers. I didn't. Here we go,
Ooh.
tearing away this plastic that I'm trying to without busting
Um,
anything. It's not working. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The plastic wrap is coming off. It is off. The Shredder's Revenge game is almost here for us to play. Opening up. Ooh, 5% off here at like Hot Topic or something. I'm sure that's probably expired by now.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, here we go. Unboxing the Shredder's Revenge video game for
It's
Nintendo
on a
Switch.
black cartridge. What?
Oh, I lost it. The game was so small. I already lost the game.
You should lick it live. Lick it.
lick
They,
it.
they taste really bad. You should lick it.
so my 10-year-old beat that
Okay.
game,
Okay, yeah.
and because he beat the game, if I were to log in and play it, um, it unlocks Casey Jones.
Ooh.
Cool.
So I could go in there and play levels as Casey Jones.
Yeah, they put out DLC that put Usagi Yojimbo in it too.
Nice.
Really, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think this, yep.
I
Go
have
on.
Usagi. Is that how you say it? Usagi Ninja Turtle crossover collection. I just remembered, but
It happened way earlier than I thought it did.
hmm yeah,
For the
it's like
comic books you're
all the
referring
early collections. Yeah, but I haven't read it yet, so that's why I forgot about it.
to. Yeah, we just last year we had celebrated the 40th anniversary of both of those. Is that correct?
Oh yeah,
Both
I,
Usagi and
I didn't celebrate it. I'm sorry.
oh,
I didn't either, Brad.
well, I did with whatever they had put out, because they in the comics, to talk about the turtle comics, they've have a new run that started in summer of 2024. We have a Usagi.
Usagi Ojimbo!
Oh yeah, I got that one.
Oh,
I have
it's a
the first
bunny!
I have the first 6, and the Ninja Turtles make their debut on page 36 of the first volume.
Yeah,
I had no idea that it was that early.
yeah, and then he appeared on their show, right?
Yes.
He
And there's a
did.
toy
I remember that.
action figure as well.
And to think that 20 or 40 years later, rather, they they had a recent crossover with the characters, and Turtles seem to have a lot of awesome comic crossovers. The Batman one, they did 3 volumes of Batman, all done in like different styles. Those are amazing.
There was an animated one too with
Yeah,
Batman
yeah,
and Turtles. That was pretty good.
that's a ton of fun. And they've crossed over with Stranger Things, which worked really well. The Power Rangers one, like anytime I see it, I think, is there a Masters of the Universe one? I think that's either just
Mhm.
happened or it's current.
Like a comic,
Yes.
you mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Weird Weird question for you guys. I know the Turtles are obviously the more popular of the properties, but as far as the cartoonists themselves go, do you think all these years later, Eastman and Laird or Stan Sakai are more revered as like the master cartoonist?
Well, for me, it's Stan Sakai.
Dance the guy's way better.
I
But
don't
that,
have
that
much. Go ahead, Rodgers.
was that a question, Troy?
Yeah, that was a question. Like,
Okay.
what's your opinion?
Like
Which
who's
one do
better?
you think, which cartoonist, not which property is more valuable, but which cartoonist do you think is revered at this point in time as the master cartoonist?
Revered, I would say probably Eastman, but talented, I would say Sakai.
Yeah.
Sakai has consistently put out an amazing book. He's
Mhm.
held the rights to it the entire time, so he can just jump to different publishers. Um,
Right.
his work has never gotten bad.
Mhm.
No, yeah,
Hot take. Are you ready for this hot
it's getting
take?
better and consistent.
Yeah.
I don't think Kevin Eastman's that good.
Hope he's not watching this.
Oh
Sorry.
no.
I'm sorry, Kevin, but when I saw you at Cincinnati Comic Expo, I did not have you sign anything because I don't really care about Kevin. I'm happy that he invented it,
Mhm.
but like so many other people have come along and done it better. It's kind of like looking at old Superman by Siegel and Schuster. It's just like, yeah, everybody else is better than those guys.
Well,
Yeah.
at the
Well, I
time,
mean, you look
at
at
the
this
time,
Stiegel and Schuster Superman, and then you put it next to George Perez, and it kind of,
but if you
mm,
take Siegel and Schuster's Superman and compare it to the books that were out then, they're they're
Right.
they're quite- they're
yeah, sure,
they're above the others. Yeah.
sure. I wonder if at the time that Siegel and Schuster Superman was out, that every everybody that was looking at it was like, "This is a John Carter ripoff," or was it not
Maybe.
that obvious to the general public at that moment?
I
Because it
wasn't.
did start off very much as just like John Carter dressed in like wrestling outfit.
Well, you also got to think that was kids' crap back then.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think grown-ups were looking at it with as much of a, oh, give me John Carter any day. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you were a grown-up reading your kids' comic books back then, you were probably a friggin' weirdo.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be freaking weirdos now. It's okay.
If Sam the Eagle has anything to say about us, he would say, "You are all weirdos."
Yep.
Okay.
I wear that as a badge.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of weirdos, once again, my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles character, Gonzo, famous
Nice.
famous weirdo, leader of all the weirdos.
It
Great Conzini.
fit in well. Yeah. He's a
Um,
mutant.
I was going to talk about Eastman. I when I had met him 2 years ago, I brought him one of my original comics of the Ninja Turtles original run. I think it was issue 7 or 9. It's one of those two where it has no significance beyond it's the one comic that I had picked up through like a rummage sale that I had carried on throughout my life, and even though I was introduced through the cartoon, but I did pick up comics whenever I would just find them in the wild, and that was an issue that I hung on to along with my original comic book collection, and got to meet him. I had a little remark from him and everything, and he is the first celebrity that has his picture taken with the Cartoonist by Night logo, because I had debuted. That was right when we were had announced the show, and then the logo here designed by Troy, Cartoonist by Night. I had
Yeah.
that on as a T-shirt as I was getting ready to promote the show, and then Kevin Eastman saw the shirt, and he's just like, "All right, Cartoonist by Night," and If only I was recording, that could have been like an opening stinger for us for the show. But yeah, it was he was cool with all the fans and just seeing, I'm sure he just gets the same story over and over again. But I think if I was in that position, I think it would be amazing to, 40 years later and just keep hearing how people still love this thing that started off as, just because I'm wearing the shirt right now, started off as this original drawing that was just kind of a joke between him and Peter Laird that just passed back and forth, and then it turned into a comic that they borrowed, a bunch of money from to make a local print run, and then it just, the story that they were doing was meant to just be like, all right, this is one comic. We killed off our bad guy in the opening issue. Let's go make some other comics. Wait, people want this thing? All right, let's go back into it and create a world.
Yeah.
And speaking of
I like in the was it I think it was their artist edition. There's like a little cap. No, what an artist. One of their collected editions, there's like a little page between issue 1 and issue 2. And it's like, funny thing happened between issue 1 and 2. There was actually an issue 2. We had no idea that this was there was going to be a demand for an issue 2.
And it all originated from Kevin Eastman, like coming back home from his job, I think, and taking the bus and sitting on a seat, and he saw a comic zine that was just left behind, and it just gave him something to read, and he was just flipping through it, and then that's where he discovered who Peter Laird was, because he was either the guy running the zine or something, and then he's just like, oh, this stuff's awesome, I got to find out and work with this guy. And oh, we have a cool original turtle design figurine there by Rodgers.
See if I can get it to focus. I have all 4, but I was just grabbing one. They're pretty cool.
Those too.
And then
I was like, I need all of them. And they actually had them all, because usually when I do something like that, I'll be at Target and I'll be like, oh, I need to get the whole set. And they'll have like 3.
Do you scream when you see them?
I didn't.
Well, that's because it wasn't Splinter. Maybe if it was Splinter, you would have yelled and embarrassed Miss Robin.
Robin doesn't get embarrassed by me.
Not so much. Not so much a toy, because it could injure yourself, but a cheese grater or a shredder, if you will. When I heard that there was a shredder grater, if you will, I'm like, yep, this is the most genius product ever invented. So
that is so weird, Anthony. Did you make that, or did you actually buy that?
It's a full-on item bought, I think, at Target.
It's a real thing.
It's a real. Funny. We're gonna check in.
Brad, I like the April clothes. Very cute.
Great segue into checking in on some drawings. So we had the Rocksteady from D. Brad. Did you do any between this one and April? Probably at least 5 or 6 characters, I imagine.
Right. Does 9 characters per minute.
Nice.
And then I got tired of these guys, so I didn't finish them yet. So, because I'll go back to them though.
And then checking in on the status with Tressa here is you.
Yep.
Awesome. And one question for you, Tressa, is just on your medium of art. We see you working traditionally. Do you do digital art? Do you have a preference? Working with a bunch of different styles. Can you kind of talk about your approach to art and what kind of mediums you use?
Yeah, I gravitate towards traditional just because that's what I know the most, and that's what I'm quickest at, although I'm not as quick as Brad there. But
nobody is. It's okay.
I don't know. Scoot's really quick at drawing as well. So,
That's true.
What people don't understand is that Future Anthony actually speeds up their cameras, so they don't draw as fast as we lead them on to. So.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So, I mean, I love traditional, and I do also work digitally, although I'm not as versed in it. So it does take me quite a much longer time, although I'm trying to do more digital work, and I've done a lot of like stickers that I sell at conventions digitally, and that's kind of how I've like low key practiced a little bit. So yeah, but traditional. I use a lot of markers. Copic markers is usually the ones that I gravitate towards for those. But I also like to, use watercolors, and one of my 2025 goals is to do more painting. So I've been working with acrylic paints as well.
Cool.
Nice.
And how big do you do the paintings?
The first one I did is massive because obviously I had zero chill when it came to working on one. It's actually 2 canvas.
Yeah, I just saw that one recently.
Yeah, it's one image that spans both canvases. So, and that's actually hanging up in our dining room. I, for the first time, decided to actually create work that was going to stay in our house. Yeah, I'm not usually one to keep my own work for very long. So, yeah, quite large. Although the next ones that I'm working on, I'm actually just finished painting a bourbon barrel head. So just the circle piece that goes on top. I just finished painting one of those today.
Ah,
Nice.
What subject matter do you choose to paint when you're just not a commission? It's your whims, whatever you want to paint. What type of subject matter do you lean towards?
Yeah, well, with the acrylics, it's been I gravitate towards like more like organic stuff, like or just like flowers and scenery painting kind of things, animals. But when it comes to like pop culture stuff, if I'm left to my own, I will actually lately I really love drawing, and you showed one of them on the screen, musicians. So yeah, it's usually like whoever I'm listening to. Especially I like a lot of musicians that are very theatrical and how they kind of present themselves, and so I really love doing that as well.
At the
I
Chapel
used to do
Roan.
that as a teenager.
Yeah.
I would make my own posters. I had like 11 by 17 hand-drawn posters of B.B. King and
Oh, cool.
Jimi Hendrix, stuff like that.
I think the only musicians that I've drawn so far is Weird Al multiple times. So
He's a good one to draw. Yeah.
I got to do something yet to make them pop. I do like it, but I maybe do something to the background yet. But this is kind of where I'm at. And usually my sketch cards line up with my body here, so I'm gonna just cue this up so that I'm rock steady myself. So.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Nice.
Troy, can we see that? Did you finish Krang over there?
I did, and then after I finished it, I wondered if it was.
Did you sell him already? Did I buy it? Did you see that PayPal notification?
I wondered if it might be kind of out of line, but I drew
I see.
politician possessed by evil alien creature, and yeah. So
I don't know if that was the
not,
new body he was asking Shredder for, but
I'm not sure if that's polite or not, but that's what came to mind.
The armband. Oh my god.
K for Krang.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one K there, I promise. Just the one, just the one K.
$1,000? That's how much you're pricing that? Is that what I said?
Nope, just the letter K.
1K, 1,000.
That drawing can be had for almost nothing.
Matt Rodgers. We're off screen at the moment, which sometimes means you're working on
Oh,
something you can't show. But can you at least show the what you did, or
yeah,
oh, did you? Yep.
my button doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
There we
little foot
go.
pedal thing, right?
Well, it's like a little what's it called? A stream deck. And I have a button and it
That
doesn't
face.
work right now.
I like the Rick and Morty
Like,
mouth. That's cute.
I dig it. Okay, so talking about Ninja Turtles again, is there anything that anybody like? How's your relationship? Anybody can just jump in with it with the Turtles today, like with liking it as a kid and just throughout the years and generations, and we know that Troy, buying not being a big toy collector, and then seeing the recent movie and buying those things. So if anybody can kind of talk about how the Turtles continue to be a part of their life, feel free to jump in.
well,
Not at
I watched them
all.
on TV. That's all.
I'm still buying the comics. Like I said, I got the new run of the after a long awesome run that went to I think 150 issues for IDW. Um, awesome run there, and then they relaunched with a number one. Jason Aaron came on, and they started off the series with a bunch of like solo issues with a bunch of awesome artists kind of jumping in. And kind of tackling the character. I haven't been reading as much as I've been doing some creation in the background.
Have you read the one, the last Ronin or Ronin? How do you say it?
The Last Ronin?
Yeah, the Last Ronin. I was going to ask about that. If anybody, so I have read it, but I'm curious what other people think about it before I say what I thought.
I have
If
read it, but it's one thing I will warn about is talking about it as potential for a huge spoiler if you haven't read it,
Oh, okay.
because they keep the main character a secret the entire time.
Oh,
Well, not the entire, but for a very long time. And it was spoiled for me when I was reading it, and I was so pissed because it's so
Mhm.
well done. Um,
all right.
but I thought it was like a 7 out of 10. It was pretty good. The good parts were a 10 out of 10, but then there were some parts of it where I was just like, all right, man, let's get back to that good stuff.
Right.
So overall, you thought it was a 7 out of 10?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
When it was good, it was really good.
Okay.
It just wasn't good the whole time.
Gotcha. Okay. I realized pretty quick that this was not for me.
Oh yeah.
I thought it sucked and sucked hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2 out of 10 for me.
Oh.
I it just was not. I didn't like anything about it. And I guessed the secret. The spoiler alert, nobody ruined it for me. Figured it out right away.
Oh yeah.
Well, aren't you just the coolest man on earth?
No, I'm not. I just it
No, you're not.
was just tell I didn't like it, but it's like this massive hit. I'm glad it was a massive hit because it's got more people looking at the like the classic Ninja Turtles and the team and everything like that. But um, yeah, I just not for me, not my not my thing.
I
All
had
right.
double dipped and bought the hardcover. I really loved it. I know we did touch on it in the first episode, but that first issue, it was fun to kind of guess, who it was, and there's just looking for like language and just body behavior, and it's a Ninja Turtle that has acquired all of the weapons of the Ninja Turtles, and so it kind of made you really think on who it was going to be, just because he couldn't be like, oh well, he's got a sword, so it's Leonardo. Well, he had all the weapons, and but yeah, I loved it, and they came out with. I think the release schedule is what took some of the steam out of it, and maybe it was something too that I'm trying to think if there was some creative stuff, personal stuff with the artist that kind of delayed some of it and things being kind of rearranged. But they've done a couple specials, a couple prequels, this and that, and the original run of it I absolutely loved. The other ones I read so sporadically. I bought them all, but they didn't stick with me as much, mostly just because I was kind of lost in the continuity of where it was mostly on that release schedule. But yeah, that is one of those that I double dipped on and bought the hardcover and I dug it.
Am I right in
So I didn't read it as it was released, so the schedule didn't bother me at all. I got the hardcover as soon as I saw it on the shelf.
Oh.
Um,
And is it being developed as a movie? I heard that.
I heard that as well.
Yeah, there was the initial news of it. I haven't heard anything in a while. There's some speculation and excitement of whether or not they would get one of the original April actresses to be in it, which would be awesome. Personally, I think that would be fun from the original live action ones. But yeah, hopefully it happens just for the sake of more Ninja Turtles.
And also, what is it? Black, White, and Green? Is that what it's called? The new series?
Yeah.
It's super good. My buddy, I don't know if we're really buddies, but I like to call him my buddy. Gavin Smith did stuff for that,
Oh, yeah.
and he's awesome. I hate him, but he's awesome.
Yeah, that series, for anyone unfamiliar, it's been a hit with doing like Black, White, and Blood type things, whether it was Marvel and DC Comics, and started going off in independent publishers of doing their take on it and basically being awesome anthology books. And I picked up most of them, regardless of the characters and the publishers. Star Wars has done some too. And it's a great introduction for people if they aren't following, the specific continuity of it all, where you can just pick up those series. And I think they're excellent reads because you just get a bunch of, a wide variety of talents getting to play with these characters in, short story formats. And they, all of them been a hit regardless of what the subject matter was. It's a cool format.
I agree.
I did not realize this when I was reading it, but I'm just looking at it now on the Last Ronin. Kevin Eastman did the layouts for the entire thing. So even though there's like a whole bunch of different artists that were working on it, he did the layouts for the whole thing to kind of keep the content, or I guess keep the vibe similar. Sort of like Keith Giffen did with like the 52 series. There was a bunch of different artists, but he did the breakdowns and the layout for the whole thing.
Right.
So I could see that. I could see value in it. I see value here. There's value.
And you're still holding on to the hardcover, so that's got to mean something. You didn't, send it away right away. So
I didn't set it on fire. No, I sure didn't. I really like hang on, let me find it. See if I can find something.
I found my Bebop sketch card, by the way, so I'm going to jump into that while Troy is looking for something.
I don't see any Ninja Turtle stuff from him, but Jim Lawson was one of the original Ninja Turtle artists. I really, really, really like his art, and as good as like the for these Ben Bishop and the other more modern artists are. I really, really like that older more cartoony style.
Yeah.
Would like I long to see that stuff. If I saw that on a bookshelf, I would buy that like that.
Is there anything anybody feel free to answer on if you could tell any story, writing and drawing your own turtle story, let's say for an anthology or something? Is there something, certain characters or specific or villains or anything? Feel free to dive in if there's anything that you would just love to draw and tell a story for.
Rat King.
Rat King.
Jim Lawson created the Rat King.
I like Rat King. I like uh uh what's his name? Mecha, is it Mecha Turtle or is it Metalhead? Or is that two separate characters?
I think
Because that
that is the name.
that one's cool. I like the story of Baxter Stockman. I like that aspect. I think he's cool. I was really disappointed when that scientist from Secret of the Ooze was not Baxter Stockman, because when I was a kid, I totally thought it was going to be him. And instead, we got giant dandelions.
Although what's exciting when you go to craft stores and hobby shops, you can find those giant dandelions, and it brings me joy to think about that.
But I just recently, like within the past year, learned that there's or I don't know if she is still around, but there's Jenica, I think her name is, the fifth turtle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
she's awesome. Every time I've seen her pop up, it's like, that's amazing. But I don't, like I said, I don't, because they relaunched Ninja Turtles and it's not the original four anymore. Like it's four new characters.
Oh,
Like they have different names and they're like, I want to say that they're Japanese names, but I can't even think of what they are because as soon as I saw that it wasn't like the boys, I was just like, oh, okay. Let me know when you relaunch with a number one with the main guys.
so it's like
Right.
another batch of mutants. It happened again? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I haven't read that newer stuff. I haven't read Ninja Turtles in forever. I pick stuff up from Gavin's table all the time just because I support my friend creators. So every time I go see him, I pick up like a trade paperback or something.
Mhm.
But
Danny Harold has gotten a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff. I don't know if I think it's mostly covers.
Yeah, he's done a lot of cover work.
dude, he got
Yeah.
to do a Dick Tracy cover. I was
When
so
you're
mad,
good, you're good.
right?
You know,
And the
people
thing that's
get
crazy about Danny is he doesn't even draw his own book that he's known for. He's just the writer and the colorist. It's
and that's
nuts.
how damn good Danny Harold is.
Right.
Uh,
He is super cool. Like,
Tressa,
Speaking of damn good, how's everybody doing? It all looks damn good to me.
well, it's very entertaining watching her color Michelangelo there. I love it.
Ah, that's beautiful. I love it. Those are the markers?
It does look
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah. Well,
Copics.
I'm always scared of coloring in with a marker. Like I'm
Oh,
gonna wreck
really?
it. Yeah.
the one tip that I
These,
give people for markers is don't
yeah,
get chisel tip, get brush tip.
Yeah.
yes, that's what
Because
these
chisel
are.
tip, they band really bad if you don't color fast enough.
Hmm.
Um, no, I just got a set. It's a Ohuhu brand.
Oh, I heard
And
about those like literally just the other day.
they're
Pretty
I
good.
would, as someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with markers, they are similar to Copic or like Prismacolor, and they're just
Okay.
way cheaper.
Love a good
And
cheap marker.
I went to Michael's the other day, and they didn't have the markers, but Ohuhu makes fine liner sets. It's like a set of 12 pens, and they carry those. So I'm hoping that they'll start carrying the markers because right now you have to order them online.
Okay. Yeah, the Copics, I have a lot of them, but I have been like almost collecting them for the better part of a decade. The good thing about Copics is they're refillable. Uh, so a little bit more sustainable when it comes to long-term use is when one runs out of ink, I just order the ink replacement, cartridge and refill it. Um, and they're nice because you can kind of layer with them, and if you work fast enough, um, the blending, I've gotten pretty used to being able to blend with them pretty well.
Yeah. I got this set
Whoa.
of Ohuhus,
Whoa,
$79.
that's
Okay.
amazing.
So,
Okay.
That's a
All right.
lot of
All
ink,
right.
buddy.
and they're the brush on one side, fine on the other side.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
they're great.
Yeah.
And they come
The
with the
Copics have like a chisel tip, but I rarely use the chisel tip side.
colorless blender.
Okay. Okay.
More
I,
grays than I know what to do with. It's like, here's warm grays, here's cool grays, here's
Mhm.
neutral grays. I'm like,
got the Copic sketch markers in neutral grays, just a set of them, and I used them a lot. And I got like she was saying, I got the little refills for it,
Mhm.
but it seemed to be like they got to a point where I had maybe pressed down the sponge too hard to
You
where it
can
would
also,
never like really refill quite right.
oh yeah, you can also replace the tips on them as well
Maybe I need to do that.
because they also get dried out over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you make those, Matt, or did that come with it?
it comes with them. They're blank, so you get to actually like do the color swatches.
Okay.
So see all the grays? It's just gray.
Yeah.
A
So
million
many,
different types of gray. Some of them look yellow even.
yeah,
There's yellow gray.
lots of browns and flesh colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have like different sets. I think Copic does the same thing where you can buy
Mhm.
like a box that has 8 markers in it, and it's like here's the flesh tone marker set, and here's the
Right.
cool gray marker set, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really happy with how they are. I just need to get better at using them. They're super intimidating because
Mm-hmm.
like, oops, I messed up. This whole thing's ruined now.
That
But the good thing about them making fine liners is the fine liners are 100% compatible with the alcohol marker, so it doesn't
Oh, cool.
run whatsoever. And the black
Nice.
coverage is amazing on their brush pens. It's like I just want to buy a gallon of their ink
Mm-hmm.
so I could just refill my brush pens with it.
talking about making mistakes, I think there's a reason why I exclusively don't go bigger than 2.5 by 3.5. So
Right.
little canvases, and it's not a big loss if I make the wrong move.
Yeah, I think
What?
if I remember right, the creature from the Black Lagoon commission that I did for you, I'm pretty sure I used all of my gray markers on that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was just like, oh God, please turn out good because this thing's, what was that one, 11 by 14?
yeah, yeah. It was definitely bigger than what I had commissioned, which was much appreciated.
The whole
Anthony, what am I
time.
missing? What did you mess up?
Oh, I didn't. I'm just saying that, Rodgers talking about making the commitment with the markers and, messing up. If I work on these little small canvases, it's not that big a deal. I just lose the cards anyways, and then it didn't matter. I forget.
I got you. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Or I can just add the whiteout pens and just turn it into a snowy scene, and then I can cover up all the mistakes. So
Snow makes everything better.
I've
When
definitely
in doubt, black it out.
done
That's right.
The
that.
wise words of Todd.
We are going to jump into our plugs, kind of roll into the end of the show here, and then we'll show off our drawings at the very, very end. But we want to talk about Tressa here going in 2025. Do you have a list of conventions that basically, I mean, you're always at most of the time at C2E2, at least from what I'm aware of. Is there anything that we can look forward to if people were to find you out on the road, or is it too early yet on what you're doing for 2025?
Um, a little too early for me. I have really, sorry, my other cat is now trying to wreak havoc. No,
As they do.
as they do. He's like, feed me. So I don't, I mean, I applied for C2E2 for this year, so I hope to be back again. Um, And aside from that, like I really don't do a ton of conventions nowadays, for various different reasons, but mostly just because I don't unfortunately have as much free time to be able to do them. But like as far as appearances go. But more than anything, I just hope to be in Chicago again.
And if people weren't able to see you out on the road, you've got a website and an online shop. If you want to promote that as well, please.
Yeah, just go to TressinaBowlingArt.com. Tressina is Tressina. That's my full name. And you can find my work on there. I do have a small amount of things available for purchase on there. I'm also open for commissions if anybody is interested in getting something. I do mail outs. I always let people know I'm very cautious about how I package things up. A lot of people are nervous about getting things mailed back to them. But I do that. And I also take commissions while I'm at conventions as well that I attend. So yeah, my website there. And then as far as social media goes, you can find me on Instagram at Tressa Bowling. And I'm also on Blue Sky under the same name at Tressa Bowling. TikTok for now, but I don't really post much on there. I guess okay. Like when I finish a piece, I'll edit it and post a video of it up there. But I mostly linger and watch other people's videos. And then aside from that,
Patreon.
I'm not really. Yeah, Patreon. I changed my Patreon into mostly just. I made it so like if you want to contribute whatever you can, but I kind of took away all of my tiers, and I'm just posting, for the most part, just everything on there for free. So I'm just kind of treating that as another platform of posting my work. Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, and all that information will be put at the bottom of this screen as well. So people have the spellings and all the information and the links and the show notes and everything on YouTube so that everybody can check that out. We're going to do a kind of a final round of where we're at with the drawings. When the episode is released, whatever, if the work is completed or a work in progress, we'll have those images in the credits as well. But let's start with Tressa here. If we can get a close, awesome look at Michelangelo here. And
Mikey, finish the inks on him, working on the colors.
I love the pizza dripping out of the heart balloon there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like it.
Thank you.
Excellent. D. Brad, how are we doing over there with Bebop?
He's coming. I like. He's kind of like my version of him, so he's got a different kind of face, but I like it.
And if you want to do a quick shuffle on some of the other ones that you were working on.
Yeah. Well, I draw them at a weird angle to fit on camera, and so they look different when I lift them up and look at them. And so sometimes I go, oh, wait, the angle is weird now. So, but it looks okay. There's April. I guess got to fix her. I think her arm's too short here. And then I'm not confident. I don't know what kind of gun, so that's a fill-in gun for this guy.
There we go.
And I'm not sure if I'm missing anything on him, but I'll have to look for reference again, and then Leonardo.
Excellent. Matt Rodgers, we're looking at your Mikey status here.
There he is.
Of that eye.
I'm not good at drawing Ninja Turtles because their anatomy is bizarre and I suck at normal human anatomy. So making it into a turtle is very difficult for me, but I'm happy with how this one turned out.
For what it's worth, I love the style, and it's a Matt Rodgers Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
I'd buy that.
It captures the essence of Mikey.
Yeah, thank
Sure
you.
does.
Troy, we've seen yours already in the finished state, and I'm assuming, we'll.
I haven't done more.
Yeah.
That's
And then where I'm at with once again the Rocksteady, and then since I did find the Bebop there, I just started him. But in the credits of the show, I'll finish those up there. But those are the ones I did there. I didn't commit to the full bodies like D-Brad. That's why I only draw on the small ones here. So I'm not held accountable to draw anymore beyond that. All right, so that is going to do it there for that. Thank you, Tressa, for joining us here on Cartoonist by Night. Seeing you on the C2E2 floor and going around and promoting Cartoonist by Night and going out to my favorite artists and people I love, visiting their tables every single time. And it was exciting to, once again, with you and Justin right next to each other. We had Justin on earlier at the end of 2024, and then we're happy to have you to kick off 2025. Cartoonist by Night. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming on. That was fun.
It was a blast for
What a
you to
treat.
bring the turtles back to us again, because it's never going to be a stale topic. For 4 decades of Ninja Turtles, we're just going to keep that going on. So there we go. Check out the all the show notes for all the information for Tressa to follow her, and all the other kind of plugs that we have for ourselves are also in the show notes for upcoming appearances for 2025, the books that are either just come out or the pre-orders and such. So you can follow all of that in the credits. That is going to do it for this episode, because I happen to notice that the sun is coming up. So it's time for us to go ninja, go ninja, go.
Yeah, got it. Can't get the thing closed.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Okay.
Okay.
I was crossing my eyes.